Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Mount Deurklink. In the last episode I made this switchback coaster here. It's a powered coaster on a mine train coaster track, and here at the end it reverses direction and then it goes on the lower track here. Now many people really like this ride. I also think it's one of the favorite rides of this park so far. In this episode I want to work on the area which sits right sort of in the middle here. What I want to make in the park is a water ride, and the ride I want to go for is a river rapids ride. Now you may be thinking, wouldn't the water freeze over? It probably would, so that's why I want to make the river rapids inside a big building. So what I'm going to do first is I'm first going to make the layout of the river rapids, and after that I'm going to try and make a big building around it. This construction may take more than one episode, but I'll see how far I get in today's episode. Anyway, I will just start building on the river rapids now. I think it will look really cool in the end. Okay, I immediately reach one of the limits here, which is the water height. Since this map is quite high up, and the water level can only go up to a certain level, I really cannot make the water level much higher here. This is the maximum. So for making the river rapids, I'll have to take that into account. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to dig into the land here a little bit, so the river rapids will be at a lower level and the highest point of the ride will be at this water level. Now, one thing I also want to show off is in this newest version of Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, you can actually have more weather types. For example, we can, other than the normal weather, we can now also enable snow. Now, I don't know if this weather also gets triggered automatically or that you still have to force it. Not really sure, but at least we do have some snow now. You can see the temperature also immediately drops to -3 degrees. I also have heavy snow. The temperature drops even more, and also the palette gets afflicted here, it gets a bit darker. And you can also have a blizzard, and basically it's like the heavy snow, but I believe there's also thunderstorm. Yeah, I think these new weather effects are really cool. Probably now that I've selected this, temperature will slowly climb up again and the snow will disappear. But to be honest, I haven't really played with it yet, so let's just keep the snow and see what happens. Now, as for the track layout, it is fairly a simple layout. I do have some space here in the middle, and I kind of want to make a trail ride here in the middle. Not sure what kind of trail ride. Maybe an observation tower would be nice, or some other tower ride. I'll still have to see what I will use. Maybe a rotor-drop could be nice, as I haven't used one of those yet. Okay, for the track I will now just make barriers around it with using a monorail track, and I also want to put lots of rocks around it, and maybe some since it will be inside, it might be nice to have some temperate trees, or maybe even go a little bit tropical. I probably won't use most of these trees, so I probably can remove some of them and replace them with some tropical trees. Now, something you may have noticed is that when you make one of these rides yourself, one of these River Rapids rides, and you change to a different track than when you try to open it, you can only have one car. To fix that, just change it back to a River Rapids ride. Oh wait, that's the river rafts, the River Rapids. And then when you open the ride, you can have more boats. Well, 16 is probably a bit too much for such a short track. I think 10 boats should be a nice number here. Okay, just gonna make the station a bit longer. Okay, I'm just gonna let the boats run through it, and then I will continue on decorating the ride. I should probably also work on these ramps first. Now, another thing you should keep in mind is that if you, for example, change a ride into a crooked house, let me test it, then all the boats will be bunched up and clip through each other. Because when you change to a crooked house, the ride doesn't have any collision. So again, to prevent that, first change your rides to, for example, River Rapids, then open the ride, and only then you should change it to the invisible ride type you want to use. I believe the lift ride type can also be used here, and I believe it doesn't allow the boat to clip through each other, even if you open it while it is this ride type. So that can also be used instead of crooked house. I typically use the crooked house for rides where I don't care about the stats, because the crooked house has incredibly low stats. And I use the crooked house for rides that I absolutely don't want to break down. For example, if you have a ride somewhere that's just supposed to be a train flying around somewhere on an invisible track, and you just want it to keep going without ever breaking down, then you should use the crooked house. If you actually want guests to ride a ride that's invisible, then the lift or elevator is the best ride type to use, because it changes the ride into a transport ride, which means guests will always ride it as long as it's free, regardless of its stats. Okay, this here will be the location for my roto drop, right here in the middle of the River Rapids track. Now this will be a slightly challenging location because there's not much space here for me to make any paths, but I'll do the best I can with the space available. Okay, I've now created the paths and the queues for the roto drop and for the River Rapids ride. It was not easy to connect them, but I did manage in the end. So now it's just a matter of doing some more landscaping, doing more scenery work, Gonna need a lot of these ruined pieces, these rocks, and yeah, also I want to plant, make lots of tropical plants here, just to give it a nice contrast from the rest of the area. And of course, in the end, this will all be in a nice big building. But making the building itself, that will be something for our next episode, because yeah, that will take too long for me to fit it all in this episode. Okay, I think this is already starting to look nice and tropical. So yeah, this will also already sort of be the outline for the building. So it will be sort of rectangular. I don't want to make it fully rectangular because yeah, irregular shapes are usually much more interesting to look at. It is going to be quite close to this coaster, so sadly it will block part of the view. But maybe I'll keep the building a bit lower than I originally intended. It actually doesn't need to be that high because the river rapids don't extend that high up. So you will still be able to see a good part of this nice coaster here. Okay, I've already done quite a bit of landscaping. I will now just continue doing this for a while until I get sick of it, and then I'll do the rest in the next episode. Alright, the entrance to the building will be right here, and I will already make a path towards it. I will probably just extend it, connect it to this path that goes over here, which is now still a dead end. Well, other than it leading to the bob ban. Not really sure if I'm also going to connect it to this path, but I am quite tempted to do so. I'll probably just make this path go over here, and then I can fit another ride over here probably. Alright, I think the indoor part of the river rapids is now pretty much done. So all that's left to do now is to make the outside of the building. But that will be something for a next episode. I've already spent quite some time on this, and else the episode will get really long. Okay, I hope you enjoyed watching me build. I think it would be nice to just follow one of these boats through the layout to end the episode. I hope you enjoyed watching me build, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.